Welcome to the Light and the Darkness audio podcast. Um, my name is Robert, and before we move on, I want to preface that I am not a professional. So if you do need professional help, please get it. From that, today we are going to talk about depression. It is a situation when, and actually, it's a thing that's actually been close to me. I've unfortunately felt depression since I've been maybe 13, 14 years old. Various levels of it, from light to severe, in my college years. Um, this podcast is going to kind of be broken up into two parts. Um, the first half of this, I'm going to talk about just the things that it did to me, that it created uh, for me, in the sense of um, what problems. And the second half of this is going to address how I personally cope with it. So hopefully some of that might allow people to use the methods that I used in order to get past their demons, so to speak, who are dealing with depression. First of all, a lot of people don't necessarily understand what depression is or what it does to a person's life. Um, and as much as I want to tell people that have never been depressed how or what depression does, it's hard to fathom. A lot of people, they do say that they're depressed, but when they answer to me, they always say, "Oh, no, yeah, I was sad. I didn't feel good, and but I got over it, no problem, and moved on." Well, depression is a whole lot worse than that. Um, it is something that just, for lack of better term and being a little dramatic, but it oozes into you, into your soul, into the very bones of yourself. Um, Without proper help, without understanding what it is, it really does tear you apart from the inside. First there are little things where, yeah, you may feel sad, but, you know, you may get happy, but the sadness never goes away. It's not one of those things where, oh, I'm feeling sad, and then it just disappears when something good happens. It lingers there, just slowly eating away in the back of your mind to let you know it's around. Um, for me personally, I had perhaps the worst spout of it in my college years, where in my freshman year I gave up completely and absolutely to it. I went to sleep one night, and if my roommate didn't wake me up, I'm pretty sure I would have just wasted away. I want to say it was for maybe 2.5 days that I literally slept, just wasting away, completely depressed. I did not only didn't want to go to school, I didn't care anymore. And for some people I know that have had depression, as they say, that you feel hollow. You don't know what to think. You don't know what to feel, and you're just there. But the things that make you unique or you just fades away. You're truly an empty person inside, and it is the worst feeling in the world because your body doesn't know what to do because it's freaking out on the inside. You're freaking out because your mind's trying to wrap its head around the process that you're depressed. And for me, I got up. I woke up, obviously, since I'm here with you guys, making this podcast, and it was something that kind of woke me up. You know, I woke up, and yeah, my freshman year of college did not go so great. My GPA was horrible, but I got to the point where I realized I was severely depressed. You know, the depression itself, it just to give a description for those that may not necessarily have depression, it just eats away at your soul. It eats away at who you are, and if you let it beat you, it just eats you away. It's definitely something that's not great. Everybody, if you want to put your comments down, if you've had depression before, definitely make comments, make a discussion. And, for me, my turning point was that moment where I realized that I was truly depressed, that things weren't right. And there's something that I had to do. I woke up and I remember going to get something to eat because I literally had not eaten for 2.5 days. My stomach was hurting, was letting me know I was hungry, and I went to eat some fast food. Didn't really settle well, but I ate it because I just haven't eaten anything for 2.5 days. And when things were said and done, I went back. I didn't tell anyone what had happened to me when I went back home, and just tried to move forward without any help. And that was probably the worst. It is an excruciating pain inside my very heart and soul when I felt alone. When I felt even family were not able to help me because I felt everything was hopeless. I felt no self-worth, and it was something that just tore me apart inside. I ended up dating and finding someone, and while her and I are now divorced, she was able to get me thinking. And it's that getting me thinking that really turned me around. I started to research into things that I can do to cope and things that I can do to make it better. And I came up with a process for myself, and I hope that the same process will will help you guys, not hurt you guys. So some of the common things that I've heard people say is, if you're feeling depressed, you can meditate, which is true. But I usually go a step further and I tell people to, if you feel depressed, light a candle, stare at it, and meditate for a minute or two. And just focus on the flame. Let it burn and watch it burn, and just focus on it and let that whole feeling of hopelessness, of how you are depressed and how your body may feel that you're not of worth, and let it fade away. I turned to Taoism to read, and that ultimately is what helped me. to read and to learn and to feel something that I can fill myself with. I'm not going to say that turning to Taoism is the end all be all for everyone, but it is something that I hold dear to me because it's helped me cope and move through it all. The other side of this is the stuff that makes sense, which is alcohol was part of the problem, smoking was the other, and I took both out of my out and away and basically stopped both cold turkey. I don't recommend that, but that's what I did. And I started to allow myself the ability to start growing again and start understanding and start hoping. As I read the Tao Te Ching and moved forward with Taoism, as I started to move with all the positive things, I started to reflect back on those things that caused depression, how depression entered me. And the real big secret is that you've got to accept it. It's got to be something that you know it's going to affect you. But you got to accept it and understand when it does come how you can combat it so it's something you can cope with. And that's the thing, and for some people it might be visual. They just stay away from whatever it is that's causing it. For some it could be written or a combination of both. But whatever it is that's causing it, physical, mental, just step away from it. Recognize that it is something that is part of you, because it doesn't go away, and recognize it for what it is. Reflect, but don't stay and dwell, and just address it, and you move forward and move on. You put yourself to something else that's better for yourself, and you move away from that which is unhealthy to you. That's not a way to just beat depression, it's just a way that I use to cope. And that's really all we can do is cope, because it is something that lives with us forever. So if we want to have a discussion on that, any comments you guys may leave, we can definitely discuss it. But for me, I turn to, I guess it'd be a little bit of faith and some understanding of what was causing me to go through that process, and then combating it with positivity, essentially, and growing upon different accomplishments in my life from that point, from being able to go back to college, from being able to finish off my degree, being able to move forward and actually do more with my life at that point. That's something that worked for me. But again, there's going to be times that it may not, and if that's the case, I recommend professional help. There's plenty of that out there, but I definitely hope that this is a decent talk. If we want to hit more comments and questions, and maybe I can address it in the next podcast, that'd be awesome. At this time, though, I do want to thank you for listening to this channel. I do hope to chat with you all more, and I do thank you guys for listening. If you enjoyed or would like to subscribe to this channel, I'd be more all for it. My Patreon site is there, so I would hope that if you're truly interested to help me with my Patreon so I can do something like this more often, that'd be wonderful. I do want to thank you all. Again, please take care, have fun in your lives, and stay safe.